up here on the mountain, and if, what's her name, that queen that was after him, if she finds me, so be it, but I'm just going up on this mountain. I'm done. And God said, Elijah, let me tell you, there are 15,000 people who still follow me in Israel. You need a rest, rest. But you're not quitting on me. So God sent a raven every day with food for him. And there was a stream nearby. He got water. And after a while, when God felt that Elijah should be restored, he told him, so you get up and go back to work. You at least have to pick your successor. And he went and prepared Elisha to take over. But God restored him. It wouldn't allow him to quit. And he restores us. But we got to be willing to receive that. And God leads us in the paths of righteousness. You know, we have the privilege of having this book. We can read God's word and know what he wants of us and what he's promised us. Yes. Maybe.
Because I've seen people that get so much turmoil and they don't have that faith. Sometimes they don't.
Yeah. And that's true. I don't know the answer to that because I've seen people who had the same opportunities that gave up as well. But maybe. I just don't know. But I do know that all things that pertain to life and liberty or freedom are contained in this book. They're in this book. If we'll read it, study it, and pull it out, God will direct our paths. And he'll let us know the way out. He lets us know that he is our shepherd. Verse 4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You know, our lives are sometimes like a roller coaster, isn't it? It's up and down, good times and bad times. And sometimes we are in those valleys and we think, well, it's just never going to get better. But it always does, doesn't it? Oh, I bet. I bet. It's been such a comfort to so many people, you know. You think about the statement, I will fear no evil. How scared do you think David was when he walked out on that field and stood in front of Goliath? That would be scary, wouldn't it? It was so scary that nobody else would do it. But he did because he trusted God. And when we are able to give ourselves over to God and understand that he's our everything, because he loves us and he wants what's best for us and he wants us to commit to him and belong to him because he wants us to be with him for all eternity in heaven, we don't have to walk in fear. We don't. You know, part of my struggle, especially for that first year, was what's going to happen next? And I still feel that sometimes. You know, it's hard for me to have Callie here and then see her go down to Orlando. It's hard. It was hard for me to see Karen go to Tennessee because you think, well, what if something happens? I can't be there. I can get there, but I'm not there. And that's hard. And that's something you have to fight through and work for. But you have to understand, I don't have to fear that. You know, one of the greatest fears is proven. Psychologists have proven that the greatest fear man has is death. But what do we have to fear? Death is just a transition for a Christian into the life they have sought after, right? You're here one second, the next second you're going to be comforted by the Lord as Lazarus was, and you're going to be at peace. That don't sound so bad, does it? And I don't have to fear that. And God has told me that through his word. He's with us. What did he say? I will never leave you nor forsake you. And he doesn't say stuff just to say it. He means what he says. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You know, I try to describe to you some of the ways in which a shepherd would use their staff and their rod. That was a symbol to the sheep. They recognized that thing. They knew if they stuck it out here, that meant I need to turn that way. If they stuck it out here, that way. If it's doing like this, he's counting this, you know, or she is. That's what protects us. Well, what's God's rod and staff? It's his word, isn't it? This is what guides us. This is what comforts us. Do you go to his word for comfort? I go to how many funerals have you ever been to and heard the 23rd Psalm read? Because it comforts us, doesn't it? His word, his staff. I think about, speaking of fearing no evil and God protecting us, I think again about Elijah and his servant. They were trapped in a little house in a valley, surrounded by 100 and some odd thousand enemy. And the servant said, Elijah, I'm paraphrasing, they're going to kill us. There's no hope. And what Elijah say? Lord, open his eyes that he may see. And what was surrounding the enemy, that was surrounding them, legions of God's angels. They walked out of that valley that day because God was their shepherd. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. You know, we have people who try to be our enemies, but that's them. They want to make you an enemy, let them do that. They're not your enemy. Your enemy is the devil. It's sin. And with God, we don't have to fear it. God is there to care for us. You know, a shepherd carried oil with them. That was their answer to just about everything. And if a sheep got sick, he would pour that oil on their head, and he would put it in their nose and their ears. It would help clean them up, you know, if they were getting a cold and getting sick. Because they would just lay over and die. They would give up unless you did something. And so they would carry the oil to help take care of them. And oftentimes, it would help them to be better. Because the shepherd cares for his sheep. That's his livelihood. I think about the parable that Jesus told. He said, you know, if a shepherd has 100 sheep and one goes astray, what will the shepherd do? He will leave the 99 and go after that one. And when he finds him, what will he do? He'll put him on his shoulders and carry him back. That's what a shepherd does. And if and when we go astray, God is one prayer away from leading us back to the flock. And in that sense and with that knowledge, it should give us confidence, and it should make us feel like our cup runs over. We're full. as Christians. We're full because God is our shepherd. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. That's the end. When we have lived a life in submission to God, and we have done what He's asked us to do, and we've allowed Him to do what He has said He would do, then there's nothing but goodness and mercy that comes from that. You think about a shepherd who has a sheep that refuses to be led. And you have that sometimes. You know, I had a calf one time, and boy, he was a little bitty. He learned how to get out of the fence. Let me tell you all a different story. All right. When we were kids, we had dogs, lots of dogs. Sometimes we'd have 30 dogs. And we hunted with them. But one time, one of my brothers got a bird dog. And we loved that thing. It was beautiful. And she would point quail and stuff. And he got her for free, which should have been a red flag. But we were so excited. We put her in the pen. I never had a dog get out of the pen. But she did. She wouldn't get out while you were outside. But when you went in the door, in a little while, you'd hear this on the back door. And it was her. Well, eventually, Daddy said, boys, y'all going to have to, we can't have a dog that gets out of the pen like that. Y'all going to have to do something. So we come up with the idea that we're going to take her to a friend so that she'll have puppies, and then that'll settle her down. She won't get out. And we're going to build a new pen, because we got our hands on some 10-foot high chain link fence. And we built her a 4x8 pen with a concrete slab, 10-foot high, and put her in there and went inside and got some water to cool down and went back out in about 30 minutes. She's sitting on the top step of the back porch wagging her tail. I'll be like, how in the world? So one of us, there was 4 of us, one of us got in a window, and the rest went and put her back in that pen and come back inside. And as soon as the door closed, she starts climbing out of that fence. So our idea was, when she has puppies, we'll keep a couple puppies, get rid of her and the rest, and they won't know how to climb. So she has the puppies. And about the time she starts weaning them, Daddy hadn't said anything about getting rid of them yet. But we knew it was coming. And they were getting more independent. Well, one day, we sitting there eating. We hear that sound on the back porch. Open the door, and there's not just her. It's her and all 6 puppies. So, somebody gets at the window, we go put them all up, come back in, close the door, and they all go to climbing that fence. Now, here's the thing. A dog can climb a fence, but they can't go back down. Once they start, they committed. All right? Well, Daddy said, you can't keep none of them. You got to get rid of all of them, because they all going to climb, and if they started, they won't quit. They just wanted to be where we were. Don't you want to be where God is? Where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them also. We're here together with God as our shepherd. And when we're together and He is our shepherd, there's nothing to fear. There's only goodness and mercy that comes from that. And one day, we'll get to join all those who've gone before us and be together. Well, I hope the way I decided to do it was okay. That's my 23rd Psalm lesson. Billy be back next week, and Thank you for your good attention.